Welcome to Moringa for Life, the podcast where we celebrate and educate around the miracle tree, the most nutritious plant ever tested. See, I knew I'd get that into the intro itself. It's important for us to know that this is the most nutritious plant ever tested, and we spent 20 plus years getting it out to the world. Well, now this has become a worldwide Moringa movement. And today we have a special edition for you. You're going to get introduced to 10 different Moringa ambassadors from all over the world, all different walks of life, whose projects have had a major impact on us. And hopefully the work that we've done, you'll hear, has an impact on them. So Mariko, we got a lot of people to talk about today. When you think about just at a high level, the ambassadors, what it means, what we're about to hear from all of them, how important is their work, their contribution to kind of the Moringa for Life, Moringa for Peace, the worldwide movement? Give us just an idea of the impact.
Well, it's really creating this movement that we didn't really anticipate. Of course, 25 years ago, 26 years ago now, that this was going to become this world stage that we're on. For me, I'm just doing what I can to move that Moringa forward, just a step at a time. But as we started to teach, people started to come to us from all over the world. And then we realized that these are people who need to have this, and they need to know exactly how to grow it for the highest quality Moringa in those bioregions. And so people just started to step up. And it was from that effort and the dedication of these people that we then created even more. The more they were doing, the more I could provide, the more I was really sometimes stretched to okay, how can I really support this? And that's how we end up with the consulting to make sure that we have really successful Moringa projects all around the world. So it has been more than a delight. It is it's such a deep, deep privilege and honor to work with these people and to see what they need to go through in order to make these things happen in their countries. So it has made me aware of wars all over the world, the civil disruptions, the political disruptions, because it affects their projects. And we check in and we know what's happening. We've had people log in and they're on a live update and there's 11-day war going on outside their door. So we're brought into the very real life of our students in this process. So we
agriculture and a little bit of geopolitics that go into this, because agriculture has become very political. And we've talked about that and we'll continue to talk about that. All right, let's get right into this because I want to spend as much time as possible talking about all of these 10 ambassadors. So we're going to start with Dr. Laban. I'm going to show a video and then you're going to kind of give a little bit of context to the relationship and the work that they're doing and how meaningful it is. And we're going to go through each of these 10. So stick with us for the next about 45 minutes and get introduced to 10 of our brand ambassadors. Here we go.
From Imphal, Manipur, India. My journey with Moringa started in the month of July 2021 when I joined the Moringa for Life Ambassador course. It was also the same year we started the campaign planting 10,000 Moringas across Southeast Asia with the global campaign for peace education. The course was wonderfully designed. It taught us about soil biology. It also taught us about growing premium Moringas. It linked us with friends across the different parts of the world doing Moringa project. We gave away seeds to individuals. We gave away seeds to communities, people, faith-based organizations. Today we have partners in Nepal, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Hong Kong, different parts of India, Myanmar, and also even as far as South Africa. We are glad that we could contribute this and also build the networks and friendship across the world, especially in Southeast Asia. We encourage people to grow more for peace education, non-violence, and to care for the environment.
Yeah. That's a great one to start with. Dr. Laban he's an anthropologist in his area of Manipur, India. And he is so dedicated. He has just single-handedly been handing out seeds to people. He makes seedlings also, grows seedlings, and then takes them out to these remote and rural villages. He educates the chief of these villages, and he will plant 6 moringa trees. They have within their global campaign for peace education the pillars of peace, and so each moringa tree is planted in the name of one of those pillars. And we started. He was in our very first course, and so in commemoration of that, there were 10 students and 7 different countries, 5 time zones, so packed. And he planted trees in the name of peace for each of the students in that course. That's how we started. That was our first, step out into the world. It was quite remarkable because of the dedication he has, and he has himself handed out 50,000 seeds or seedlings to people. He's had people carry them across the border to Myanmar when they were in a lot of their civil unrest there. So nothing stops him. And he has connected with other students as well, with Amit. Amit, actually, who you'll meet later, he's an Indian. He has volunteered in that organization. He also has donated seed to a project in Sri Lanka. He's had contact with a student in Hong Kong. So this is one of the amazing things I'm able to do is when I see that there's an interest or a need and another student has that, I can connect them. And so now they're meeting people all over the world. And one day they'll meet in person, but it doesn't matter, right? They're connected through Moringa, and everything unfolds from that. Yeah, so it was just an amazing. And he loves the full moon. We plant by the lunar calendar. And so many times when there's a full moon, he'll send me pictures of Moringa with a silhouette of a full moon in the back. He's just like such a heartfelt person with all of this, and just sharing.
I didn't realize he was a part of the very first Moringa course. How many years ago was that now?
It's been 2021. Yeah, that was the very first one we did.
Oh, wow. All right, next up we have James. Let's hear from James.
Hello everyone, my name is James Brady and I'm a Moringa ambassador. Part of my journey has taken me to Ghana last year, where I toured a site, Permaculture Institute. I also this past summer planted 200 ancestral trees in Alabama with the large poster that got the community's attention. The mayors attended and some other dignitaries. But it's an ancestral project where all 200 trees are named in honor of my family members. And my journey continues on. I have a business called moringatang.com, turn all nutrition green. And the most recently participating with the great author Mahana Gill on distributing her new book, Moringalicious. Thank you very much. Enjoy your journey.
That's right. James and Mohana. Many of you have already met Mohana. If you haven't, make sure you check a couple past episodes. Lots more to come from Mohana. Tell us about James.
Well, James came through as a part of a group with Dr. Waterman, who we'll also meet in another episode. And he already knew a little bit about Moringa, and then everything opened up. So in the course, we have people do what's called a Moringa outreach action. And that's a little project that they do that is in line with their vision. And so it's like a stepping stone. And it culminates some of what they've learned in the course. So permaculture, vermiculture, soil biology. And so he realized that he really wanted to do something in his ancestral family land in Henry, Alabama. And so that's how that project started. He started this as his outreach action, and it grew to really including a lot of hurdles that he had to overcome, that other family members, needed to be all, in line with this. And then he realized that was the story he would tell me about his grandmother. And then he went back and, well, where was she originally? Well, they think that was one of the last, when he researched, one of the last slave ships that came. And I think that came from Ghana, and then he traced that to a specific location in Ghana. And so he actually went to Ghana and for that purpose. So all of that came about from his Moringa outreach action. So he met Dr. Newton, who's he's a professor there, teaches a lot of the Moringa studies there, agriculture, and then James was able to teach a day of the aquaponics, which is his specialty. And he now actually has a grant, a USDA grant, a big project where he's doing a project in Kauai and Nigeria, and it's all for food around the world.
Amazing.
Sustainability. So just incredible. And he's just humble, dedicated, just keeps moving through any of the obstacles that come. Such an inspiration to work with him.
Okay, James, thank you so much for the work you're doing. Next up, this is one, Isaac, who I've met in person, had an amazing time with Isaac, is just so excited to be here when it comes to finding Moringa. Really brilliant, really funny, goofy guy. Love Isaac. So let's hear what Isaac has to say.
My Moringa journey is an ongoing, unfolding adventure. It all started with an intention to work towards helping building a better world. I decided to start studying how the interaction between plants, its roots, and soil worked. As part of that process, I found out about a Moringa forest tour organized by Moringa for Life. I had been interested in Moringa for many years because of its nutritional properties and their effect on our health and well-being. That's where I met Mariko in person. As she was giving us the tour on the Moringa forest, I was very curious about the soil in it. I asked her for a small sample of her soil. That's what started the connection between my soil improvement journey and my Moringa journey. Soon after that event, I had multiple conversations with Mariko about the benefits of soil biology and the Moringa tree. We found that we were on the same page. She had been teaching for years about the soil importance and the plant nutrient availability. As she says, if it is not in the soil, it will not be in the plant. I attended a one-week in-person course and gave a couple of classes on how to use the microscope to look at the microbes in the soil and how it was very important for the Moringa tree. I met wonderful people with special Moringa journeys. It seemed magical. I learned that when you commit and believe in a vision, it will happen. However, one of the things I have found out on my Moringa journey is that I have a vision and an intention. The path to get there is unknown, and it adjusts all the time. I need to trust and keep moving in the direction I choose. I resigned from my job back in March of 2023 and decided to dedicate all my time to promote improving the soil health and the usage and benefits of the Moringa tree.
Love that guy.
Yeah. And 25 years as a computer engineer, very lucrative, very successful, big team leader for this big company. And he just gave it up one day. I mean, it was a process of like being tugged so strongly and not being able to really show up fully there because his mind was always on this other. Now, he studied with Dr. Elaine Ingham, so that's our foremost soil scientist here in the United States. So we had that base information. He came to a Moringa Sanctuary tour, and he was like, the kid in the front of the line, for class was like, oh, I know that. He's just so excited and so fun-loving, and just a delight to have him around. So I just started having him around all the time. So there's one class or another on my how to grow mushroom class. I said, why don't you do a little, soil biology? And so he said, oh, okay. And so as many times as I could have him come and participate, he did. And he's certified lab technician. He's now being certified as a consultant under Dr. Ingham. So the education he's getting is just, the top of the top. He does now studies with Matt Powers, incredible education, and also that soil biology is what needs to be there. I brought him to Japan with us last year.
Right.
Right. So he's done, and now he's connected to a project with Amit in India. So he'll be known around the world, maybe more than even domestically. But his Moringa vision is to bring Moringa up from Mexico. And that's where he's originally from. and he has connected to a farmer there. We've gotten our first shipment of moringa seed oil, and so it's unfolding. We had no idea what his vision was going to be for this. We just knew he's going to be with me doing soil biology every time he can. So that has really become a big part of his journey now, and we will connect more with that farmer, and because he's on the same page as us as well. We've had really great conversations with him. So that is, for me, that's been a dream. Like Isaac is a dream come true for me, just because somebody who just focuses on the soil biology, because that's not the best use of my time, but it's the best use of his time, and he loves it. And he just, like a kid, he just showed me, look at what I found. Look at what I took a picture. I'm going to send you a picture of this. You want to have that of passion and love for the subject, because and it's great because he's like, it's not in the soil, it's not in your moringa, and he's just like,
I was gonna say that he listens. He's quoting one of the most important quotes I think that you've had for sure. And it all started from just showing up. What, he see it on social media or something, showing up at a farm tour.
And he lives in Vista. He lives in this city. He just moved there like 2 months before he moved, so he's like close by. So he can run over here to the office, meet me. We did just the other day. We can meet. Yeah, no, and just became one of the family right away. I mean, he connected so much with Mackenzie, you know, your sister in Japan. They just like it's just like he's been in our family forever. Yeah,
that's amazing, Isaac.
Yeah, and his family. So his son is a triathlete. So he's very interested in.
I saw him comment about the Moringa Mojo.
Yeah,
saying that his son will eat 2 of those soap bars.
Before I could tell him, just go slow. He said, "Oh, I think he ate the whole thing." I was like, "Okay, just let me know if there's anything, But
he's an athlete. He's got strong insides.
Yeah, he needs that high nutrition, compact. Yeah, so there'll be more with that. We'll see what kinds of foods they might be producing because of his son,
Isaac. Okay. Dr. Arundhati. Let's talk about Dr. Arundhati.
Hello. I would like to share a little bit of what the Moringa tree has brought into my life with you. I lost my husband of 40 years a few years ago and have to live alone in the house I had occupied with him, and concurrently I also retired from work. So in the mornings, I would notice this tree hugging the bedroom windows, glistening in the sunlight, the bottle green tiny leaves, and squirrels jumping around the tree, and of course eating the white flowers, so that we had very few pods on the tree. And somehow the presence of this tree gave me a sense of security. It was a funny, strange feeling. Which was present all the time, and I was very happy about it. Following these times, I met Damayanti Lee, who sought my help to prepare a presentation to the Minister of Agriculture of Sri Lanka on her journey of developing a model farm in Sri Lanka. This journey has been meaningful because at a time of retirement, one is suddenly at a loss about what to do, which direction to go. And Dama's passionate dream that the knowledge that she had gained and I had gained, we could both utilize to empower the women of Sri Lanka to improve the nutritional value of the food they gave the family, and hence improve their immunity and thereby improve the quality of life of our people.
How's the sound? It was kind of quiet on my end. Can you hear her well?
I could hear her. She's it's
very soft spoken.
Well, she's not.
Anybody had problems hearing it? Message us in the comments, and we'll send you the video clip directly. I had trouble hearing that one.
Yeah,
tell us about Arundhati.
Well, she's speaking quiet. She's not a quiet person. She's actually a retired professor of pathology of Colombo, and hematology. She's speaking quietly because her daughter-in-law is in labor. So she didn't know she was going to be able to get this to us in time, but she said, I'll just do it, So she's a very animated, very lively person. She was just being quiet, and I got a message from her. I'm holding my baby, my grandbaby in my arms. So she's in Australia right now. She came through as a part of a scholarship we gave to Damayanti, who she's referring to in Sri Lanka. We gave her the Moringa For Life Pioneer Scholarship because she really is forging that frontier there with moringa in that country. Even though it grows there, people know of it, they eat the seed pod. They don't eat the leaf. And now during the time of a lot of hunger there, the lack of food there right now, she's had to convince people to not eat the seed pod so they can have the seed, so they can have the tree. And that's why Dr. Laban had donated seed. Meat arranged that, and then they sent seed to her. And she also bought some seed from there because they don't have the seed to plant for the moringa that they want because the people are eating the seed pod. So with that scholarship, they get 3 seats. They got 3 seats in the ambassador course, and then one of those people would go through to the Grow and Educated course, which Dr. Arundhati did. So she came through all of that. She's a certified Moringa For Life educator, and she was the one who helped Dama do that PowerPoint to the Department of Agriculture, and that's what then created the National Moringa Day, which they now have. April 14th.
Everyone's so interwoven.
Yeah, no, there's no way to talk about one without not talking about all. They're all, and if they're not connected now, they will be at some time in the future. That's just how it is. So what was great about Dr. Arundhati, she would come. One of the things that your process starts to unfold, and she would say, "Well, I met this guy, and he can do the soil biology," and so she would report that. Once a week we'd have a live update, and then I'd say, "Okay, how did that go?" Well, he never let me talk, and he told me I know everything. I know. No, you don't know. Did it. So she said, no, I can't work with him because I can't even talk. And it's not soil biology that he's thinking about, right? And so she used this discernment, which is one of the things that we teach. You have clarity about what you want to work with moringa, but then you need discernment with some of the opportunities. And there were so many opportunities that would come, and then she would say, oh, and then this happened, and I would say, report on it. And then she would say, oh, no, because I can't work with this. This happened, that happened. So we got to see the pattern from that period of a 2-month period. She moved through all of these things and never took a specific step because there wasn't a step to take yet. And now this whole thing has unfolded to where the whole country is in need of it. And she's an educator. And Damayanti will take this on, and they will be the ones teaching the whole country. So her project didn't unfold. She used that discernment, all of that moved, and she didn't end up having a specific thing she would do. And now it comes back full circle, she and Arundhati. And then when Amit actually went to Dama's farm, Dama was in Australia, but she was wanting to know, why is it flooding? And she was losing 200 moringa trees. And so Amit bought a microscope in India, took it to her farm. Arundhati, who was not driven by herself outside of Colombo, it was always her husband who drove. She drove all the way across to Trincomalee. It's an 8-hour drive to go to Dama's place to train Amit how to use the microscope. So it's like that.
That's the interconnection that's forming here. It's pretty powerful stuff.
And she wanted to come to the in-person course and couldn't because she couldn't get an interview for a visa. It's like,
well, now you're going to Sri Lanka, and she'll
go
do
there
the course in Sri Lanka. So, she doesn't have to. Maybe she has to drive 8 hours, but hey, she doesn't have to fly across the world. All right, next up, Libby. Let's hear from Libby.
My name is Libby Wild, and I, along with my husband, have started a for-profit company in Southeast Asia. We've lived in this country for 20 years and have come to love the people and the cultures. We and our team at SSP are striving to work together with our combined strengths, talents, and resources to produce quality superfood products, create jobs and opportunities, and educate one another. Our focus began with moringa trees. Moringa grows well in this part of the country and was a crop that the community chose. We have planted nearly 10,000 trees since December 2021. At that point, we knew very little about moringa. We knew very little about planting, raising, or harvesting it. We began watching many videos on YouTube from farmers, and we came upon Moringa for Life and enjoyed Mariko's thoughtful and clear communication of all the answers to our questions. And that led us to Moringa for Life website and eventually to the Growers Education course. The course was very impactful on our Moringa journey. We were familiar with the terms intercropping, permaculture, and food forest, but we hadn't studied much about it. And we had actually observed many of these techniques by how our friends garden. And so wanting to lean on our friends' expertise and traditional methods, studying with Moringa for Life explained the science behind these methods and gave our project further scope. Moringa for Life helped us lay out our 1,000-foot view of our existing garden plot and what it could look like in years to come. And it gave us the information we needed for how future planning should happen, what should be included, considerations that need to be made. And so it was just invaluable, the resources that we came upon. I'm a learner at heart, so the course for me was fun. It was not a superficial course, one of those where you're just checking off the boxes. The course is full of good reading, extra supplemental videos, and years of experience. Mariko's evident love for plants, health, nature, and people comes through in every video, and her personal investment of time and care in each module. Also, we've really come to think of Moringa for Life and Mariko as partners in our effort. They're often cheering us on at every milestone we achieve, and that's an encouragement that is genuine and very special. So if you're considering adding Moringa to your work or your family life, we highly recommend this course.
I mean, I got to give Libby a gold star. A gold star. She was the first one when you asked all of your ambassadors and students send a video talking about their projects a little bit so we could do this episode.
No,
first one to send the
actually-
video up. There's production. Like, look at how beautifully produced that was.
No, she actually sent that before. And then she said, I already sent one. She had been
She
wanting
just did
to-
it on her own?
Yeah, that
Oh,
I always
amazing.
a month at least before we decided to do these podcasts.
Gotcha.
said,
And
"Oh,
she
you know,
highlighted the YouTube channel leads to the website, leads to the course, leads to changing your Moringa journey, exploring your Moringa journey. So
Yeah,
that is absolutely like that's how we want to find people. You know, find the YouTube channel, find the website, find the courses. Amazing. Okay, add a little bit more. Libby really kind
Oh
of.
no, she's in. So you saw those structures, you saw all. None of that was there. None of that. So everything she has implemented has been at rapid pace. Once she got the clarity, and then she just started implementing all of those things. And she would call, and we'd have a call, or we'd be emailing, and she'd have all these questions. Okay, and I would just keep giving her whatever she needed for that. And then she sent me a sample of the product. It was tested at Michelson's lab. That's who I recommend here in the States. Unbelievable how good a quality that is in this, because the problem is mold in a lot of these tropical areas. Premium product, I mean, just incredible. So she has done pretty much everything except for one more thing to be a certified Moringa grower. I'm not sure if that's something she's planning to do, but just because she's gone through everything I've given her to do,
she's definitely going through that. You can tell how laser focused Libby is now, and recognizing all the support and all that. She's definitely going to go through that.
Yeah, and now the other villages have seen what they're doing, so other villages want to get involved, so they can see, well, this scope isn't just, there's 8 families they originally first started with. They had like 600 trees, and it started with this tiny, just like, I guess we might be able to help do this, and that's how the journey unfolds. She just keeps saying yes, she and her husband, yes, and let's just do this, and yes, and yes. So the clarity, and then she had all the tools she needed to implement all those things, and she didn't have to second guess and redo and undo. She had a Moringa plot plan, and it was finished and clear. So that's how you want to start. And she does. She has a path all the way down into the future. She knows what's coming because it's on her plan. That's in advance. Yeah.
Gold star, Libby. Way to go. Great video too. That was really good stuff. Absolutely. Everyone else's videos we had to like edit and clip and touch up. That one was ready to go with intro frame and outro frame. So
I think her son, one or two of her sons, she has 4 sons, it has a video company, so
there we go. Perfect.
They got around that, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, next up, Nihal.
Got to know about the benefits of consuming Moringa leaf and powder during the ambassador program, which I did with Moringa for Life some time back. In Sri Lanka, where I live, we are used to eating Moringa as a delicious curry made from Moringa pods. Mariko was a great teacher who was able to arouse my enthusiasm and commitment in promoting the consumption of Moringa in leaf and powder form, which would then benefit the health and well-being of the people in Sri Lanka, especially the poor. As a first step, together with the FPS Sri Lanka, we produced an informative leaflet on the nutrition and health benefits of Moringa. These are the leaflets that we produced, one in Sinhala and one in English. And many thousands of these leaflets have been distributed widely in Sri Lanka to target audiences. At every opportunity I get, I encourage people to take Moringa leaf or powder in their daily diet, and I will continue to do so in promoting the use of Moringa in this country.
Okay, we got distributing pamphlets now. I like this. I'm seeing all these different, almost like disciplines or backgrounds or skills kind of coming to play, where there's this jigsaw puzzle and everyone kind of feeds into it.
Yes, and here's Moringa Outreach. So he was one of the 3 that went through as part of Dhamma's scholarship. So he thought originally he was going to do a big project where he was going to contact any of the producers who are already producing Moringa and do this big export thing. And I said, okay, well, just start to make some calls. I never discourage anyone that might be, the direction, because the Moringa Outreach Action is a small project. And then he came back and said, no, that's way too big. But I know a woman, she's the executive director of a women's clinic. I think I'm going to talk to her. Comes back. Yeah, she decided she's going to plant some Moringa, and I can do an informational thing for her. And then they find out, well, there's 5 clinics attached to that. So, and she wants to produce, and I don't know now the last count, if it's 500,000 copies of that. He has it in 2 languages. Yeah, so his little project, which he presented, on our last live update, presents a little. Well, now Dhamma has asked if they can use that for the countrywide educational program. So that's how you can see, like, these little projects. You think, I'm just doing this little leaflet for the end project for this course.
It's that pebble in the pond. It's the butterfly effect, whatever that might be. It's compounding interest is what it is.
Yes, it's exponential, and it comes from that original commitment he had, and he wanted to stay local. I said, that's where you're going to have that heart connection. The people, you see the impact, and he was so committed at that point. When it was a big thing, it was like, well, a whole bunch of other people are in charge of how much and when, and all of the details that went into would be involved with that. But when it was something little like that, he had, so much connection to it. And now that it's going to be, all over
it's going to be bigger than his big project probably would have ended up being, because too many moving parts to even start.
Yeah,
start the process is the key.
And we share these, they're able to share when people have these outreach actions, they're uploaded into a module. And so when somebody says, oh, I need, a pamphlet, well, they don't have to start there. They can start on the back of that student who has it. And we send that. It's happened a number of times. You don't have to start at the beginning. You are on the shoulders of the other students that have come before you, just like my students have been on my shoulders of all the experiences that I've had that has come before them. So that's one of them, that people are able to utilize those kinds of things within. So resources become big resources and become spread all over the world as well.
And now let's hear from Teresa.
Hi, I'm Teresa Murray, and this is my Moringa journey. I work for an organization called the Bethany Land Institute in Uganda. We are a conservation school teaching young rural Ugandans skills in regenerative agriculture and entrepreneurship. We support them as they go back into their communities, starting their own sustainable farms and becoming agents of change and leaders in their villages. I first learned about moringa on my first trip to Uganda in 2018, where I saw the animals eating moringa, and I saw Ugandans drinking moringa tea on a daily basis for health and medicinal purposes. I came back to the United States and started researching more about moringa and found Mariko. I took the Growers and Educators course and became part of the larger moringa community and visit the moringa sanctuary whenever possible. Back to my project in Uganda, I brought back samples last year, had it tested at Mickelson Labs, and found that indeed we do have a high nutrient value and high quality product. So we are now planting it in our production fields where it will produce income for the Institute, hopefully bring some more self-sustainability to them and income for the future. Our project is just beginning. Stay tuned, there's more to come.
So now we're in Uganda. We've been in and had mention of we're on 8 or 9 countries now. Teresa said one thing I want to make sure that you touch on: income. That we're not just growing a garden here, right? Which would be amazing. Grow moringa, eat moringa. We are also potentially creating microeconomies, creating income, so sustainability. Hugely impactful.
Yeah.
Country like Uganda, those communities desperately needed. Talk about that.
Yeah. And she's local to us. She's in the next county up. So it was just this, wow, she can come, so she's come to a lot of our different events. And when she can, she lives half time here on this coast, half time on the East Coast. And she's a volunteer. She's the director of development there for the Bethany Land Institute. And she just was wanting education for herself to be more effective when she was there working with the people. And so when she learned all of the things that we were doing, she realized that they had implemented a lot of those things already. So it's a residential program they have. It's a 2-year program. And they're learning all these different, so permaculture, they do composting. So a lot of the things that, and all of the things that we teach in that course, in some way or another, they were doing. What happens also, once they graduate, they are given a loan to buy an acre of land. So it isn't just come and learn about it and then you're finished and you're on your own. No, they stay connected and they get them onto that land producing, and the loan is like no interest and just, they make it so easy for them to do. But they want them to have a loan so they have that accountability, but having ownership and pride in that ownership and 100% responsible for that. So that really impressed me. Their project there, it is all encompassing. They live there, learn there, they practice everything, and they're teaching this entrepreneurship so that they are viable businesses. They pick an area of interest that they want. They go out and they become the leaders in their communities. And the leaders of that country, they're the future leaders of that country because they have that really strong education behind them, and it continues to grow. That program, I know that they're adding, more. I believe they've already built a second building there. So yeah, it's just incredible to watch. And all of it was she just is educating herself to find, to make sure she has the information she needs. So I thought it was a really remarkable thing, and she's just a delight to be around. She's so positive about everything, and so all of that energy that she brings to that program becomes a part of it as well. People who show up there from all across the world to help these people, that makes such a big impact to them.
All right. Next up, we have Christian. Let's hear from Christian here.
I just want to give a shout out to Mariko and the Moringa For Life family and community worldwide. Just talking a little bit about my Moringa experience. My journey started as a way that I can support the nutritional needs of the sickle cell community. So one of the components of Moringa, which serves us, is that it's iron rich. So when we think about sickle cell anemia, sickle cell in its original function started as an adaptation to malaria, and the anemia aspect of it is a nutritional deficiency that can be resolved through iron-rich foods. which is why we've utilized Moringa as a way to support the nutritional needs of the sickle cell community, and the beneficial isothiocyanate components that deal with anti-inflammatory. This is a true way that we can understand food as medicine. Peace.
I had no idea. We just talked last episode about all of the different ailments, illnesses, diseases. Please check out if what Christian just said it impacts you in any way or resonates with you. Check out the last episode where we talk about the nutrition and some of those things. And isothiocyanate, is it the
Isothiocyanate. I know it takes a while.
Everybody, I've tried to say that at least 50 times and have failed every time. I know we're gonna be talking a lot more about that. We can't get into all that right now. This is the first one where specifically this is a health issue that led somebody down this journey that we've heard so far. So talk about that for Christian.
Yeah, and for Christian, it's his son. His firstborn has that, and that just spun them around like, well, and they were in and out of the doctors and hospitals and emergency rooms, and it was just this constant trying to keep this child alive. And he tells the story, he was totally distraught. He went out to a park, he sat on a park bench, and he was just there. And this older man walked up and started talking to him and told him about Moringa.
No, come on.
This is his Moringa. This is a Moringa angel, and this happens. It's not uncommon.
It's like a parable, like a fable just happened.
And it is, and he lives in this world of magical connection to things. He's a remarkable person. He has dedicated. He has the whole family, his wife too, side by side. They came down and they visited. We got to meet them. They were here for probably about a week, down to the World Beat Center to Makeda. He has this lifelong journey, and he's also educating people now. He has what's called the Moringa University. He has entrepreneurship now, and it's teaching people how to make money with this as well. So he's taken it all the way, to bringing it to his communities. Then outside of Oakland and Fairview. And so it started this, because they needed to, embrace that. And he's had so much benefit with his son and then their whole family. And now this is all he ever wants to do. And the impact he has had has just been enormous. And especially that community is mostly Black community who has that, sickle cell anemia. And so to have found one thing that you can use that is going to improve that, it doesn't have, I'm not saying anything that it cures it, but you can have it for the rest of your life and live a long and vital life because you don't have any of the symptoms that can bring, and all of the nightmare of being in the hospital system. So he is just constantly in communication with people. We have their websites, Creation of Society, and that's what he's really all about. Is like we have to recreate society so that it's really a fundamental support for all of the people in those societies. Yeah, such an inspiration. He came through as one of Dr. Waterman's group, also with James Brady. So they know each other. James has been to his place, and very, really closely connected.
That's so great to hear. And I hope his son is doing well. Okay, next up, we're getting down to the last two big ones. Amit has been a name that has been constantly circulating around our world for years and years now. And so many things where I'm like, okay, we're working on X, Y, and Z. You're like, yeah, I got that to Amit. Yeah, Amit sent this to me. Yeah, Amit's working on this. So there's always been Amit there. So we appreciate you so much, Amit. Let's hear what you have to say.
Hi, this is Amit Barikeri from India. Moringa for Life has introduced me to worldwide Moringa movement. The one inspiring thing about continuing my journey with her is connecting with the different student projects around the world and working with them and shaping my Moringa vision as well. Since all the projects are in different countries, but they are still so connected like a fine web, and the course Growers and Educators has also shaped to find my true happiness to work with Moringa out of all the different possible ways. And then Moringa educator and soil biology and healing the soil through Moringa is something I have come to like. And Moringa Vision Quest, it has taken shape in many ways, and Mariko has always been there to validate and make me realize that none of my wildest imagination is like unachievable, and she has guided me in a fine process to make that a reality out of my Moringa Vision Quest. Making a Moringa food forest is something which has come to me, and I'm on a journey to make that a reality very soon. So I am always grateful for Mariko and Moringa for Life for their support in my Moringa journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, mention it. He called it a fine web. That is, and the web is becoming denser and denser and more closely linked. It's great to hear. We don't have enough time for you to talk about Amit. Give us just a little bit of what Amit has meant and supporting his journey and vice versa.
Yeah. Well, when we first got the first little email from him, your sisters, Mackenzie and Lindsay, we looked at each other and went, he's one of us. Literally. I mean, just there's this heartful, like open, connecting, like wondering, he gave up. He also an engineer, gave up all of that, went back to India, and he has been on this journey with me, and I lean on him for just about everything, especially technology. We have regular calls. He went through the ambassador, then the growing educator. Now he's in a Moringa consultant, and he's starting to see those things unfold. I also do what's called a Moringa Vision Quest with him, and that's what he's referring to. Is like you have to find where that individual is right now, and then and where they've been. So he's dealt with all of the things that came up in that. It led him actually to finding his wife. So he's getting married. That's why I'm going to India, because he said, I would love for you to come to my wedding. And all that unfolded. So I say to him sometimes, now I'm going to these 3 countries, like Malaysia, India, Sri Lanka. I'm doing the in-person courses in Sri Lanka. I say, all of this came because you and I are connected, and you request, and you're drawing this world event to you. So it's one of the things he's starting to observe. His name means limitless.
Perfect.
So we see that with him. He is limitless. He's seeing all of the things that he can do, and all the way full circle he was in a Moringa food forest, and so he talked to us from the food forest inside of a tent with a headlamp. And then, like 2 weeks later, we're back at his big, busy city. And so I would say, okay, everyone, in the live update, you see the difference? Listen to him talk. He's in a forest. And then the next time, listen to him. Now he's
taking on the energy of the place he is.
But that experience really changed him. It really, because he was walking on Moringa around him, embracing him. I mean, and he was breathing whatever, the whatever, in that whole environment, breathing in, breathing out, everything. And so he was really saturated completely. And so that's what has become limitless for him, because now he knows absolutely anything he wants to do. So he's the one connecting with all the students, helping, doing it. Incredible. Yeah. So grateful, so happy to have him, so honored. I will be so honored to be at his wedding and dance my heart away and meet his family, and Shivani, his beautiful, fiance, all came from his Moringa vision. And the clarity,
everyone wearing laurels of Moringa, and it's gonna be some
Moringa every day. We're gonna go to his sister's Moringa farm. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah.
Okay, finally, Roberta, we have some pictures shown. You're gonna tell some stories. Roberta wasn't able to do a video for us, so we couldn't really do this episode without Roberta. Very early on name I remember hearing when you started thinking about expanding more globally with the impact that Moringa for Life was having within the Moringa community. So we're talking about Moringa, Roberta, and I'm gonna show a picture that she sent us with what country is she spending time?
She's in Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. Here she is with the happiest group of kids.
You see? I don't see it.
It's up. It might be your screen.
Oh, I see. Okay. So
Go ahead, Huck.
Yeah, that's a picture. I asked her to do a video, and she's in kind of frail health right now. She will be turning 81, and she's just keeping all of her energy to just focus on the book that she has written about her whole journey in Zimbabwe, and getting it published. So, and she has very soft voice, so I won't be able to do that. So I had to just include her. What this is a picture I had not seen before. She and her husband Ralph went on a Africa tour after they retired, and with some friends. And when they got back, they heard about an orphanage that was having a lot of trouble. And so they thought, oh, we could do something to help. So they decided to go, and they were there. They said, well, we could spend maybe 6 months. Well, they spent 6 months, and that turned to a year, and that turned to all of this unfolding of this incredible progress that has gone on in that community. They had no running water, no electricity, and children dying of starvation, and it just broke their heart. And so they have been dedicated. Now, Ralph has passed away, I'm going to say 17 years ago, and she has continued on her own. She was going twice a year, April and September, and she lives a pretty, affluent life. So going and sleeping on a mud floor twice a year to help these people, she was just willing to do whatever it took. And now they have more villages, and more villages are involved. They have multiple locations. They've built 13 structures. They've dug, 8 wells, 15 community wells have been repaired. I mean, they have just branched out to this incredible center right there. Well, one of the challenges that she had, and I think they had 1,000 trees when she came to our course. She came to our very first in-person course years ago. So that was 10 years ago. And she had already been working in that community for a very long time. And so then she had the details that she needed and soil biology work. But they didn't have the materials to do a compost. They don't have paper trees. They were growing moringa trees to shred the trees to have compost mulch for mulching moringa. So they couldn't start there. So they started with vermiculture. And
I'm gonna show a picture of this. You sent this picture, and we were looking at everything to get ready for this episode. And I looked at this. I was like, this looks like a pile of dirt and hay. And you could not have been more excited about it. I was like, okay, let's check it out. Here we go.
Right. So they couldn't do. So what they built, and this is one of the things that is a remarkable thing that's happened, because the village people took this on their own to do. They built this. It's a concrete 2 troughs. What you see is one trough on the side. There's a channel in the middle, and there's a trough on the other side, and that's all filled with that material there. You know, see, now I see that picture, and then the worm casting tea that comes out, or the water from that, goes into the channel. So it's at an angle so that the channel collects the water. It goes down and out of the building and is collected into a barrel. And that barrel, then they take and they distribute that. At the time, they didn't have a garden. They couldn't seem to keep a garden going. They couldn't keep the food in there thriving. And now they have this huge garden, as well as the moringa. So moringa gets some of that, every tree. Now they have this huge garden. Now they have biomass from the garden. So they'll start to be able to do some, like a static pile of compost, because now they have the biomass. So it's been incredible when there's something that needs to be solved. So from nothing there, they built buildings. They have a drying room, a dryer that the Rotary Club donated. Then they realized that they needed to do so we teach food handling procedures that like what you would have in a restaurant. All of the food handlers need to be certified. Well, they sent one of their main people to Japan for a year to learn the Japanese food handling practices. So they actually
Precise in the world.
The most precise in the world. So they go, so this little place that didn't have running water or electricity, they have Japanese standard processing. So the women come, they disrobe, they shower, they clean, they put their processing clothes on, they walk over this distance, and they go into, they don't need to have gloves because they're clean, they have all of everything is set up to do. So the things that you just think, oh, I can't do that, I'm in this little place, they, from nothing, they have been able to do so much. And so we gave Roberta the Moringa for Life Lifetime Achievement Award. She is still dedicated, even though she's had to turn this over to other people. In 2020 was going to be her last visit there to say goodbye, and it was just like, oh, it just broke her heart. And I was talking to her, and she knows now somebody else has taken that up. This past year, they went for the first time since 2020, a group of people, and so it has been just an incredible thing to watch. This unrelenting commitment to these people, and they come, these children, as an orphanage, their parents, one or more of their parents have died of AIDS, or they've been abandoned for other reasons. They can't take care of them. They have no way to feed them. And so we have examples of how they start.
Yeah, this picture we saw was a little startling and inspiring.
Yeah.
So this is the same child here first, clearly looking malnourished and in a lot of pain and anguish, and then couldn't have a bigger smile on the other side.
Yeah.
Same kid.
Yeah, 1 month of having moringa, eating moringa every day for 1 month. So they see this all the time. They see the dramatic improvement. And in life, you're in situations like that, you think, okay, I can add moringa. It'll add nutrition to my, smoothie. That's a privileged society. They're in the trenches with people. They're seeing this every day. And then they have educated children. They fed 1,000 children, through these now 5. I don't even know what the most update, how many orphanages they now have. And they've educated them. They have uniforms. They have food. They've gone through the system. The ones that really are excelling, they've supported in the university. These are the future leaders of Zimbabwe. So they are starting from nothing, and it's not over. I mean, they're continuing on. So I'm really looking forward to what this book has. I've seen all the journals. Whenever she'd come back, she'd email me the journals. I emailed her and said, "What's the name of your book?" And she said, "Oh, I haven't even named it yet." So that's just a minor email. Yeah, no, she's just remarkable, dedicated. So when I visit you, I want to go and see her again.
Okay, Roberta, Lifetime Achievement Award, well earned, and her vision will live on long past her. That's what a vision is, right? A mission is the work you do today, and the vision is what lives on past you. So Roberta is definitely the embodiment of that. And that's it. That's 10 of our ambassadors all over the country, all over the world. Couldn't do the work that we do at Moringa for Life, the worldwide Moringa movement, without them. And it's been incredible to watch them. There's so many more too, and every day more people are coming into the orbits and into that fine web. So we'll probably have some more episodes like this. You will continue to be introduced to more and more people. And if you're watching this, listening to this, we hope to have you up on this screen, on this show at some point. So,
and these stories will also be available in more detail on the moringaforpeace.world website. So that's something that Amit is doing.
Of course.
He's putting those projects up there. We'll put videos with each of them, and each of them will get expanded more and more, and you'll start to see more and more projects there. Then you really do see all at once all of these projects all around the world that make up this worldwide Moringa movement. And it's just an honor to work with these people. They are above and beyond. And then their circle changes and things come around, and that's the miracle of it. That's the wonder that happens doing this work with Moringa. So I invite everyone, jump on, join us.
Join the worldwide Moringa movement. That's it. Amazing episode. Thank you to everybody who contributed to this episode, and many more to come.